Hey, Buffs fans, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in Buffalo Stampede, we're talking a couple of wins by the Colorado men's basketball team over Eastern Washington and Milwaukee with assistant coach Rick Ray. From the undefeated women's basketball team, transfer Cori Miller, and we create athletes in this room. Steve Englehart, Adam Ringler from the strength and conditioning staff talking about making young athletes into mature athletes. That's all coming up this week on the Buffalo Stampede.
Dimitri Stanley is going to take it to the house.
There is why he's one of the best linebackers in America. And there he goes! Touchdown! Right between the eyes from downtown.
Attaboy Lolo.
It's a winner for the Buffs.
Ball is right in front. A couple of shot fakes to Chief Barry.
Needed. He got the one extra pass.
Lathan
Went 3 already in the second half. He is going to work with the jump hook.
Walker count the basket. 0-1. Here's Walker. Drives down the lane and he kisses it off the glass over Pat Walker. 0-1. Here's Walker. And a steal by Walker. And he'll flush it and was fouled.
Kick it back to him. Allow him to do some work.
Straight up 3. 9-point lead. Jabari Walker.
Well, there's some great plays by Jabari Walker down the stretch. Buff finishing a ball game with a 14-2 run and come back and get a nice victory over Milwaukee here at the event center. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. Assistant coach Rick Ray, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Buffs get 2 victories in 3 days. Before that one, Rick, let's talk about the game against Eastern Washington. You had to scout on that one. I know this team's kind of driving you as a staff crazy a little bit because you're so up and down. A game when you jump out early, give up a lead, have to fight back. What was kind of the postscript in that game against the Eagles?
Well, we just got to remember what got us that lead against Eastern Washington. And sometimes we forget the reason why we got up so big is because we had a defensive identity and we did some of the things that we need to do on the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, we shared the basketball and got easy shots. We're struggling offensively, there's no question about that. But as long as we're taking good shots, we're fine. But we got to make sure we're embracing the defensive mentality that get us those leads.
Right, and you guys know this after all the years that Tad has been your defense and rebounding are the cornerstones, and he continues to preach that. The turnover issue continues to rear its head, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, we just got to make simple plays. And I think what happens is when you're struggling offensively, you think that I have to make a play and I have to make a play early in the shot clock. And we're just like, no, when you're struggling offensively, don't try to force the issue. And I think these past 2 teams that we played, they're packed it in so much that we just got to move the basketball around and then take that easy shot.
You know, there's an old adage in basketball, it's kind of a cliche we talk about, let the game come to you. But that's an interesting balance between playing with intensity and being aggressive, but yet letting it come to you. That's I think that this team's kind of learning that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what happens a lot of times is we want to play fast, but we want to play fast on misses when the team is scrambling back. And sometimes when the defense is set, we still have that same mentality, and we got to understand the difference between playing fast on a miss and then making sure we're coming down and trying to get the ball moved on a make.
So the Buffaloes get the victory over the Eagles by 3. They had to come back from 4 down late in that contest, but they do get the win. Afterward, we heard from head coach Tad Boyle.
We were lucky to win tonight. We were lucky to win. I chalked this one up to Montana State and Duquesne that we played in the Virgin Islands. We didn't need a 3 to put it in overtime, thank goodness. I'm not sure we could have made one, but we did what we had to do to win a game when we weren't at our best. And to me, that's you take a little bit of solace in that. But we have got to get better offensively. We had 9 turnovers in the second half against a team that doesn't pressure. You know, we're struggling to make shots right now, especially in the second half we did. But I thought, you know, our ineffectiveness on offense really bled into our energy level, and that cannot happen. It absolutely cannot happen. And look, Eastern Washington, give them credit. They're tough-minded kids. They're a good program. Who's been to the NCAA tournament. They know what it takes to win. Their coach does. So we were fortunate to win this game. And, you know, they missed some wide open threes there at the end. Thank goodness. But we were lucky to win this one.
Head coach Tad Boyle after the Buffaloes get the 3-point victory over the Eagles, and then it was on to a Friday night affair where they play Milwaukee. Got a lottery pick, by the way. Do the Panthers coming in here. Buffs get the win here. But again, it was tough sledding uphill in this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, no question about it. And when you're playing somebody as talented as Patrick Baldwin Jr., I mean, it puts a lot of stress on your defense. And I thought we got off to a slow start offensively, but we climbed back in there. But once again, the reason why we were in this game in the first half was because of our defense.
Right. You know, defensive rebounding. And I know as fans, you hear that all the time, and you have to like go, yeah, okay. When the Buffaloes, by the way, hold an opponent under 40% shooting, go +8 or more rebounding, the Buffs under Tad Mueller is 76-5. I know it's boring when you talk defensive rebounding, but it's amazing how effective that is.
Well, Coach was saying that, and I joked around to him. I said, that's the reason why you're still the head coach here at Colorado is because of that number right there. So, and our guys got to understand when you're playing basketball at this level, you've got to have something to grab onto. And if guys grab onto that record, I mean, it's just really staring you right there in the face of what you need to do to be good.
Against the Panthers, as the Buffs were up and down offensively, it was great to have a guy like Evan Batty. He's as right as the rain out there, isn't he? I mean, just solid all the time. You guys were able to go to him and get some big plays.
Yeah, and that's what you expect from a guy that's a senior, that's played as much basketball he's played, has been around and been experienced. You want him to be a calming influence on the rest of your team because we're so young at other positions.
You know, when we talk turnovers, really when you look at the young point guards and Keyshawn Bartholomew and KJ Simpson, you know, they're not turning the ball over a lot. You know, in fact, in this ball game combined, they had 7 assists, only 2 turnovers. The thing about the turnovers that's interesting to me is it's affected by everybody. It's not just the point guards having problems.
Yeah, and if you look at Keyshawn's assist-to-turnover ratio, he's actually doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody else is struggling in that department. But I just think, once again, we're trying to make too many plays early in the shot clock and instead of letting the game come to us.
Yeah.
The game dictates and makes it simple. You just got to make sure you take it.
You know, the thing about this team, though, that fascinates me, when they kind of get themselves in a tight spot, they seem to react. I mentioned a 14-2 run down the stretch. You know, but when you play with a snake, eventually you're going to get bit, though, right? That's what the team's got to learn.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been really fortunate to win some of these close games, but hopefully our guys are learning from the experience.
Yeah. All right, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, assistant coach Rick Ray joining us as the Buffaloes pick up 2 victories in 3 days. Now they got a few days off for finals before they got CSU Bakersfield coming to town. Up next, we're going to talk women's basketball after the quick timeout.
Frida down low to Miller's fouled and got a free throw coming. Catch on the elbow. Isaacson went down again, and now Miller takes it right at her and scores it. Mia Blackston out of Jones. Jones lobs down low to Miller. Miller squares and goes right up under the basket.
Beauty.
A little reverse there.
What a nice game for Cori Miller.
Well, she's been playing some fantastic basketball. That's junior Cori Miller right there against Dixie State. CU women's basketball team remains undefeated. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Hey, there she is. Cori Miller joining us here for a couple of minutes. By the way, just to let you know what kind of personality she's got, she came walking out here to the court singing Christmas songs. Should we mention the socks? We should probably mention the socks.
It was winter one. Oh, the socks? Fine. You can show them.
Take a look at them, huh? Look at that, Christmas socks. She is in the spirit. Well, congratulations the way you've been playing. I mean,
Thank you.
first, awesome being undefeated. Talk about that first, what this team is doing right and how well you guys are playing.
Well, you know, we set goals at the beginning of the season. Starting from summertime, we had accomplishments and things that we wanted to do and grow as a program with the players that came back, the seniors that we have, and just as an experienced team, we wanted to take that to a different level.
So you guys, the way you've been playing defensively, I think is what impresses me. This unit right now, defensively, has been outstanding. I mean, this team's relentless on the defensive end.
Yeah, we have to be, especially with T on our necks about it. Defense wins games, basically. That's what it is. So we get down to that, and that's our priority. We prioritize all of everything from a defensive standpoint, so it gets us a long way.
How come every member of the roster at one point is going to say, well, we have to because T does it?
Because they're
pretty
scared
tough
of him.
on you guys.
No, we're not. No, he is very tough on us, but I would say T is one of the, he's an excellent coach. It's easy to take criticism and feedback from him because, you know, it's all from love and everything he says makes sense sometimes, but yeah.
So as a team continues down the season and continues to remain undefeated, does that increase pressure, increase confidence? What does it do for a team?
I think that if anything, it brings us closer together as a group. We both need to know, or everyone knows their roles, and it's not really pressure because we know what we're expected to do and what we can achieve. So
we're going to continue with Quay in just a moment. Right now, though, the indoor track season got underway, and right now the Buffaloes have the #2 ranked pentathlete in the country in Avery McMillan.
The pentathlon has always been my favorite event, and I've been working to break the 4,000 point barrier since freshman year, so I'm excited that I finally did it. And then just practice has been going really well in the fall, so I was excited to see it all play out in the meet. I came in here as a heptathlete, but I've also been doing the pentathlon all throughout high school, which is 5 events instead of 7, and you don't do the javelin or the 200. And since the pentathlon's only 1 day instead of 2, it's always been a lot better for me because I don't wake up and I'm all sore the next day, so it's just always been my favorite. So hurdles and long jump have always been my favorite coming into college, but then I've started to really love high jump too. So I usually do those in open events because you don't do the multi every single weekend. So those are the 3 that I really focus on during the rest of the season. Yeah, so my first goal was to break 4,000 points, which I'm really happy that I did that. And hopefully that mark will go to nationals, but it's right on the edge. So my goal for the rest of the season is just to keep getting more points in the pit and hopefully be a good competitor at nationals.
Well, congratulations to Avery, right now ranked number 2 in the country in the pentathlon, as we continue with basketball player Cori Miller. Talk about the transfer process. That's a fascinating new aspect of college athletics. It's becoming more and more common out there. Your decision and how you ended up being a Buffalo.
It was scary, it was, but I've known JR since my junior year of high school, and she was probably one of the only coaches that acknowledged me in games, like when we played against them, when I seen her, so I feel like that played a big role in my decision on coming here.
Was it odd, though, here at one moment you're competing versus the Buffaloes, and then just a short time later, with a matter of weeks, all of a sudden you're one of them? That's got to be a strange deal.
Well, we try not to talk about it, but when it does come to surface, like I said, it's just a great environment to be in. I love the staff. I love my teammates. This is the closest I've ever been with a group of girls, and they're players who want to compete and get better and win, and that's the type of environment that I needed to be in.
How long does it take to transition, though, to make you feel like, okay, I'm not a newcomer now, I'm part of this group? How's that process like?
Well, I think it's different from everyone. I come in with the same vibe. I came in like I've been here. Like, what's up, y'all? I'm ready to practice. So it was not, they made it feel like home right away as soon as I made the decision to come here. Yeah, the transition from a system standpoint and learning a new terminology and offense and defense, how did that go for you? It's a process. It definitely is a process, but with the help of staff members and my teammates, they make sure I get in the extra work that I need. So it hasn't been too hard because of the support that I have from my team and coaches.
You know, if you ever spend any time around Quay with that personality, you can see it was a pretty easy process to become one of the group here, no doubt about it. Hey, good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
All right, Quay Miller from the CU women's basketball team, undefeated CU women's basketball team. Next up, we're going to talk with the guys who helped build the student athletes here at the University of Colorado. We'll start with Steve Englehart. He's the director of strength and conditioning here at the University of Colorado.
Perfect. Down, drive up. Good job, son. Let's go. Boy, when I pull down, take the bar and pull it down. Keep that upper back tight, all right? Yes, sir. Will, make me look good and get that up easy. If it's too light, then put 185 on. I can't believe this. I can't believe Jabari is still #1 on bench press. I can't believe it. Stay tight. Stay tight. Boy, stop talking, get down and do your stuff. Let's go. Hips up. Good. All the way. Good. 7-5. 7-0. Hey, Neek, that's how you need to be from set #1, though. From set #1, I need you up there. Let's go, Keith. Smoke it. Drive. 6-0. 6-2. 6-3. Good job. Good job. Exactly like that. What I don't want, all right? Don't drive up on the toes on it. Drive up. 7-2. Good job, son. Evan, you were off balance on that one, man. You had the bar too far this way right here. Make sure when we get underneath it, it's right here because this side, you felt it, didn't you? Show them what you've been doing. Let's go. Good job. Boy, that's it.
Okay, there's no truth to the rumor. What you're seeing right there, Steve's job is not only to yell at people. He actually does a lot more things besides that. Director of Strength and Conditioning here at the University of Colorado, Steve Englehart, joining us on the Buffalo Stampede. This is kind of your room, isn't it? This is your kingdom right here?
I love it, man. Yes, it is. Yeah. We have some fun in here. I have some fun in here. The guys, not so much at times, but they have some fun as well.
So when you get guys in here, they come in as freshmen. They're 17, 18 years old, right? They're not even shaving yet, and they maybe haven't experienced a lot of the weight room. What's the first thing you do to kind of start molding those guys?
Remember the guys we're getting. We're getting guys that are 7 foot, long arms, long tibs. So they probably have never lifted. And if they did, their form is not where it needs to be.
Sure.
And when their form is, I call their high school strength coach up and thank them. And I really mean it from the bottom of my heart, because I'm like, it's hard to teach those guys how to do stuff properly and right. So yeah, this is where the magic happens, right here.
So it's all about weightlifting, but take us from a technology standpoint. First off, look at this. On one of the racks right here, there's an iPad up here. What's going on here?
So that we use a new technology, Push. Actually, it's been a couple years since we've been using them, but there's a tracker that goes on the bar and it gives us velocity speed, right? And in season, especially when Pac-12 comes around, we want to keep them in like a power phase, right? Which is around 1.0 to 1.3, and you'll see the little charts that we have right here.
Okay.
I mean, it's all right here. So if we usually undulate the workouts from 45% to 50% to 55, back down to 35%.
You're actually tracking the speed of the bar.
We actually are tracking the speed of the bar. Correct.
And for what reason? What's the goal?
Well, we're trying to get max power out of them. Okay. I mean, force times acceleration, right? And basically on the basketball court, who's going to get to the ball first, right? I mean, we still want to have, be strong, but we need to get up there and grab the ball as well, right? So, and that's the biggest thing, is power. Can we keep power for the whole season? And that's why we undulate it, and that's why we're evidently tracking. We used to just get lucky, but now we're getting right with this technology.
So the power's got to be there, but the speed with which you get there has got to be there as well.
Exactly.
So and the fastest, strongest guy that goes there gets the ball.
Exactly. And you see the leaderboard up here, and it's pretty fun. Because it's like a video game to them. Because every time they hit enter and the set is done, they come in there and be like, all right, Steve, boom, did I win? I'm like, not yet. Obviously today we have a week off, so we're kind of dropping it back down. We went to around 60%, 65%, and 70% of their back squat. And that's why you don't see the numbers so high, but we had a week off, so we're going back to the strength foundation of what I really believe in.
And the strength and the explosiveness then translates to leaping and grabbing rebounds on the court.
Of course. I think anything, you just can't be strong and not jump. I mean, that's not basketball, right? I mean, that's more of an O-line. Like, hey, let's get our hands dirty, and I got somebody else pushing me. But in basketball, I have to do it all. I have to box out, use my lower body. There's the ball. Go get the ball, right? And that's why we do a lot of different training regimens in here.
Fascinating stuff. So not only is it how much can I lift, but then the competition so it really kind of promotes competition as well amongst the guys, even in here instead of on the basketball.
I'm huge on competition. I mean, life is competition, right? And I think if you could put competition in here, especially in season, I mean, it makes it even funner, and not funner a word, but like what I'm saying, they enjoy it more, right? It becomes a game to them. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is, are they getting better in here during the season, And another thing that we can track is on the force plate, on their readiness score. And when we see that RSI drop, we know something's going on with them. And it's like, we see the RSI drop and we see their meters per second drop. It's like, oof.
It's got to be, and by the way, this is kind of interesting for Steve and his staff here. There are a lot of the NBA guys, when they've gotten hurt, have come back to work out with you. That's got to mean a lot to you, I would think.
Oh, I love it. I think that what we're doing here as a program, that says a lot about us, what we're doing, and how we're, you want to get these athletes better, and not only bigger, stronger, faster, but be able to stay healthy year round.
I told you, he does a lot more than just yell at guys, huh? Pretty heavy-duty stuff going on here, literally and figuratively, in the weight room. Steve Englehart, his assistant, by the way, Adam Ringler, is going to join us next. We continue talking strength and conditioning here at the Buffalo Stampede.
Maya, hands off. Sherrod drives in, kicks to Peanut, driving down the left side. Tough shot. There for the offensive board. Another chance. Now Miller down low. And the Husky dribbles right. Stops mid-block. Back out. Blackson. That's a 19-footer. And she'll knock it down.
Well, the last time the Colorado women's basketball team was home, they beat Dixie State and remained undefeated on the season. Back at the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the boss, Mark Johnson. Adam Ringler, he's the assistant director of strength and conditioning here at CU Event Center, and a guy that you probably don't know, Buzz in is an enormous part of what the women do, athletically speaking, from a basketball standpoint. You're the guy behind the curtain, right?
Yeah, behind the scenes. I mean, this is where a lot of the hard work comes in, right? And obviously, fans get to see what's on the hardwood, but these athletes spend an enormous amount of time in the weight room developing for that time on the court.
You know, I've always said that the strength and conditioning department is the unsung hero of athletics. Nobody sees them. Nobody talks about them until athletes get beat up on the court or the field. Also, they go, hey, our strength staff needs to get better. This is really where you make athletes over the course of their 4 or 5 years here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a lot of development happens in here, right? And obviously the coaches go out and they recruit great, talented athletes to come here. That's the paramount, that's number one. But once they do arrive, we want to make sure that we're training them, we're developing them, we're trying to reduce the likelihood of injuries while also maximizing their athletic potential and performance.
You know, you look at this room right now, it's really a spectacular setup here. I've been here long enough now, 18 years, where I remember it was just a one room, which looked like about a racquetball court, had just a few dumbbells in it. I think there was a treadmill or two in here, and that was about it. So really spectacular. Kind of take us around. First off, tell me about the lights. What's going on with the lights around the room?
Yeah, I mean, look, the lights they're just an engagement piece, right? They synchronize to the music. We dim the lights down for cardio workouts, conditioning workouts. So much of what we do on the hardwood is predicated, especially at altitude, of being the best conditioned team in the Pac-12 in the nation. So we frequently drop the lights, we condition, right? And we got all this new equipment within our weight room. We got bikes, we got ski ergs, we have low impact conditioning modalities like the Versa climbers. Almost every NBA, WNBA facility has Versa climbers, but we made a real strategic investment and interest in making sure that we have the cardio equipment that we need to keep our athletes, conditioned through, 5, 6, 7 months of play here. So. Yeah, the lights help us with that, and it keeps them engaged.
It's such an enormous change. You go back into prehistoric times when I was a college athlete, it was lift heavy weights, run, and that was about it. Nobody talked about all the rest of the stuff. Take me over to this thing right here.
Yeah, force plates, right? We are fortunate enough for many years now, 6, 7 years, where we've had our dual force plates. We have some software that helps us identify asymmetries, differences, left and right. So much of basketball, it's an impact sport. We jump up, we grab rebounds, we're crashing the boards. We want to make sure that our athletes are landing symmetrically. If not, our director of strength and conditioning here, men's basketball, Steve Englehart, and I, right, we will design custom programs based on those asymmetries. So if an athlete's landing a little bit more on their right, they're a little bit weaker, doesn't have the force production on their left leg, we'll make sure that their training program accounts for that. So this is just one piece of a much larger puzzle of technology that actually helps us better program and helps us better prepare our student athletes for competition.
So in layman's terms, what we're talking about is basically you're coming down, your balance is evenly displaced on both feet, right?
Yep.
And why is that important for an athlete?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about MCLs, meniscus, ACLs, especially in my sport with women's basketball, where the prevalence of ACL injuries are much higher than the men. So we want to make sure that we're combating the ACL epidemic, if you will, in female athletics by doing smart programming, by programming strategically in the best interest of our student athletes and what they bring in, because every student athlete will be different.
This becomes more and more athlete specific as you go on. But the bottom line is this, you still have to get into, you got dumbbells over here, you got racks over here. It still comes down to gaining strength, correct?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, athletes need to be bigger, stronger, faster. So we're gonna make sure that, that we're utilizing every piece of this, right? There's no technology that will do the hard work for them. They have to work hard, right? We have to get stronger. So, I mean, we're fortunate enough to have the equipment that we have, chains and rubber bumpers and iron and steel. These are all the fundamentals of our strength conditioning program. We have to have it, and the basics will remain the basics and the fundamentals.
See, it all comes down to elbow grease. Sure, I thought he was going to give me a trick with an exercise or a pill I could take maybe to lose weight. That's not the case. You still have to work hard. Hey, appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Adam Ringler, strength and conditioning coach here at the University of Colorado, as we put a wrap this week on the Buffalo Stampede. Get out there, keep pumping, just like those Buffs. We'll talk to you next time.